button. But it is cool to welcome into the studio, the new studio, for the first time, our guy Jamar Cain, who came through this morning, back in his off-season home of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And it is good to see the former LSU defensive line coach back in the South. Coach, good morning. How are you, man?
I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
You know it, dude. Tell me about the first year in the NFL. I mean, the NFL experience. What was that? What was it like compared to? I mean, you were Oklahoma, LSU. You were at some Blue Bloods, and now to get back to the NFL, what was that like?
I think the biggest change was like my phone didn't ring no more.
Right.
From like recruits calling me, you know what I mean? Like, hey, coach, watch this.
Or did it?
Yeah. No doubt. That was the biggest change because, like, you know, you walk around with these several phones, whatever. You got your work phone, your personal phone, and all the other stuff. But that was probably the biggest thing, and just dealing with adults. And all day was football. It was like you didn't ever broke up your day. Like, all right, we got to do 2 hours of recruiting. Okay, we got to do an hour of academics. Okay, we got to do an hour, figure out these guys with the school, class checks. Like, we didn't do any of that. It was just football all day.
I am very out loud and claim I'm a huge bandwagon guy, and I'm a huge bandwagon Saints fan, and I became that when Peyton became the head coach of the Saints, and it was incredible to watch his ride. I believe 17, 16 years with one franchise and everything he accomplished. He seems like a pretty cool dude to work for.
Yeah, there's just, you know where you stand with him.
Right.
Like,
no gray area.
No, you just know where you stand. From that whole, you know, Parcells tree. Yeah, so you know where you stand. Everything he has a plan, very detailed, and like every situation is covered. Like, it was awesome just sitting there and watching it.
Yeah. What was it like watching LSU this year?
So Lloyd Cushenberry.
Oh yeah, nice. That's right.
Lloyd,
right. There is an LSU connection.
Yeah. So Lloyd and I would always like if LSU was on at night, we would get to the hotel and they would have all the games on, and Lloyd and I would sit there and watch the games, and Lloyd would look at me like, Jamar, what's going on? I'm like, Lloyd, I'm not there. I don't know.
Dust off the old phone.
First off, let me ask you this, because you took the job in Denver like right before spring football. So you kind of had an idea of what the team was going to look like when they were coming together. Let me ask you this one first. Did you have any idea the offense was going to be as good as they were?
Yeah. Like, well, I was with 5 at Arizona State. So
That's right.
I've been knowing 5 since he was in high school. And I knew in year 2 he would take off. Because remember at Arizona State, his year 2 was COVID. In 19, he had a really good. He had a really good year as a freshman, and people were surprised. Then COVID hit in 20, which is sophomore year. Then 21, it kind of all blew up around there. Then I just knew in his second year he was going to be jaded, and everybody knew Malik was a freak. But BT was the one that, like, I don't want to say surprised everybody, but he showed flashes in practice, like, all right, BT, like, and he don't talk to anybody. Like,
right, he's quiet.
Just very, like,
silent assassin.
It's like, hi BT.
Right.
You
Trust you're working. Yeah.
And then you obviously you knew what Mason was going to be from last year, so I knew they would be high power in the 2 tackles and the offensive line. Like, you just knew the pieces were all there. It was like, all right, they're going to be pretty high power next year. But the biggest thing was, like, I knew Jaden in his second year in this offense would take off and take ownership in it.
After watching NFL up close for a year, does his game translate?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How much is the quarterback really kind of shifted to what he does?
A lot. Like, I remember there were several games there this year where we're just like, all right, another scrambling quarterback. All right, another scrambling quarterback. All right, this guy moves from like Justin Fields to Jordan Love. To
Lamar.
Josh Allen. Well, we didn't play.
I'm just saying, but like, you could keep going down the list.
But like the guys that we played,
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, then you go Watson up in Cleveland, like every week. Even Tua to a certain extent, like the guys that we play is like another scrambling quarterback, another quarterback that can move within the pocket and extend plays.
Right.
So his game translates big time.
So the offense, was incredible, right? The defense, coach. I mean, like, that was your side of the ball. I mean, did you expect them to? I don't know how to put this, but I mean, like, they were historically bad. I don't mean that disrespectfully to anybody that was there. I mean, but when you're watching that and you were kind of a part of it for a minute, you were like, had to been like, this is not right.
It was one of those things where you're watching and it's like, I could have helped. you know what I mean? Like I probably could have helped.
I think a lot of people felt like that.
Well, the cupboard was bare for 4 weeks. They didn't have a coach.
Yeah, it was like one of those things where you feel like, man, I probably could have helped out more, or it's just you look at it and you feel for the kids that you have personal relationships with. Like, dang, I probably could have helped them grow a little bit more, or did I not do something the year before to put them in a position of where they're at now? So I looked at it more internally than externally. Like, all right, we didn't have Mason, but okay, we're in Game 7 now. Like, what could I have done better to help him be prepared, or what can I help Wingo to be better, or Saban, or Tank, or any of those guys to be in a better position than what they're in now? So I looked at it more internally than anything. And then I just felt for them. Yeah. At the end of the day, I was just like, golly, man, those are my guys out there. Then I got to answer all the questions. Like, Lloyd is looking at me while we're eating dinner. Is like, Cain, what's going on? I'm like, Lloyd, I don't know. I'm sitting here right next to you, brother.
Right.
But yeah, so and then obviously my family's still here, so I'm connected to the city for a while. So I just felt for him, and it was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Did what did you think about the year that Mason Smith had?
Highs and lows. I do think that he got better as the year went along, but you're coming off an injury, so not just an ACL. It was like ACL,
the camp
MCL,
injury,
like,
and then the high ankle sprain. I think people don't talk about.
Right. Then he missed the first game for whatever reason, but like then he had a bone. He just had the injury. Just it takes a while for a bigger body, and I think once you start getting comfortable with the injury, comfortable with probably wearing a brace, then you start taking off. But those things take a while, especially for a big body. Like, it just can't click right away. You get a little body like yours.
Bounce back, coach.
You'll be good to go.
Like rubber.
Yeah, right back in it.
In 6 months, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the other guys take a while for it to happen. And I think he was probably about the year and a couple months before he started feeling like, okay, I'm back. Because you got to remember, man, you're wearing a big brace. You're not used to wearing a brace in the games. You're not used to – do you have confidence in the knee? So I think at the end, like you saw the Mason who I thought he was, like the A&M game, the Wisconsin game.
No doubt.
Towards the end of the season, it's like, all right, he's got his confidence back. He's got his swag back.
Not that you're an NFL scout, you're an NFL coach, but like, how do you guys look at a player like that you seem like he's been hurt a lot, and he's got this. There's not a lot of people built like him on the planet,
right?
Yeah. And then do you tell yourself, hey, if he gets right, he's going to be right. You just hadn't seen him there consistently yet. How do you evaluate a player like him?
I'll be honest, I haven't even watched like 1 ounce of like college tape. I'll be honest, like all the tape I may have watched is like me watching ESPN, watching the games and all that stuff. So I'm interested in like getting back on Monday and start digging into all this tape and start watching these guys and really evaluating them.
How different is the job? How different is the job compared between NFL and college? Because I've talked to NFL guys that are like, once you taste the NFL, you know what I mean? There's a true off season to it. Yeah. Where in college now, I don't know how many days are realistically that you get off.
Yeah, like I would obviously love to be in the playoffs right now, but like,
yeah, for sure.
I have time I'm home now, hanging out with the family, get another week off in a couple weeks, Fridays, you know what I mean? Like I have
a real off season.
Yeah, it's funny because my wife said you've been way more present now than you've been in the last 17 years.
Because you're probably always recruiting,
and even when they come out there, it's like we have time to go do certain things. Like we have time to go have dinner. Or we have time to we don't have recruits in town, so it's like Saturday night. You get to the hotel, you have your meeting, then you're pretty much done. And I'll see you at the stadium the next day. So I feel like we actually have time to be a couple. I have time to be a true father. Like I'm just way more present now. Then again, I don't have to be on my phone all the time. Like I don't have to be
always looking down.
Yes, like my daughter's talking to me and I'm texting. Right. Now I'm just present more.
How? It seemed like you were one of the ones that loved recruiting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you put that on because you probably just have to act like you love recruiting even if you don't, but it seemed like you genuinely loved it.
No, I did.
How much do you miss that part of it when you're away from it?
My wife misses it because she misses all the frequent flyer miles. And you know how that is. And the hotel points and all that stuff. But nah, I miss building a relationship with the kids. I miss like their parents. Like building a relationship with like Womack's mom.
Yeah.
Like Coco's family now. You know what I mean? Like although like that's like even Swenson. Like I recruited Swenson at Arizona State. And then when he went to Oregon, like when he decided to leave, I was the first phone call, and I knew his parents. Like the relationship was already there, you know. So like Wingo's mom, like I missed more relationship with the parents and the growth of the kids more than anything. And then the hunt is fun too.
Yeah.
Like okay, boom, I'm gonna go over here. Oh, I love that kid. You know what I mean? And then like
Coach, you know who's a dog?
who's that?
Jackson Howard.
Yes, and like Willie, like me and Willie and Chicana, it's like his whole family. Like that's how you get a kid, and still talk to Willie to this day, and Coco to this day. And it's like I talk more to the parents than I do to the kids because they're the kids are like at that age now where they're gone now, but the relationship with the parents should become friends. So that's what I miss the most.
Yeah. Womack, big future.
Yeah.
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 Big future on him.
Yes.
Let me ask you this the right way. Everybody, I think, from my world and listens to this show as a fan of college football, sometimes loses the sight that coaches are human beings. Like y'all have families, y'all got kids, y'all got people in school. You know what I mean? Were you surprised that the whole staff was blown up like that? Like kind of like at the end of the year?
Man, that's the worst part about college football and coaching, man. It's just, these guys have like you said, they have families, they have kids, they're real people, and when you see that on the ticker come through, it's like forget coaching. I think about like that guy's wife or that guy's daughter or like that guy's son or whoever who may be, and they say, well, they'll get, they write the whole buyout thing, whatever. Cool, that's cool, but like, you don't want that stain on your name, if that makes sense.
For sure. Absolutely.
And that's where I feel for those guys. I try to always answer their phone calls when they call, you know what I mean? Because, like, there's been, like, the relationship that you build with these guys because you're with them every single day. And I have a really close relationship with one of those guys that was let go, but it's just like, I feel for their families. And I feel for them, too, because sometimes you don't want that stain. And sometimes, like, people won't answer your calls like, oh, that's that fire coach calling me. He may want something. Like, no, dude. Like, you're going to get – like, we've all been fired. Like, take that phone call. You know what I mean? Like, there's no stain on you.
It's like if you're in it long enough, at some point you –
Yeah. Like, I've been fired before. Like, I'm still waiting for Coach Bull at Wyoming to call me back. Because he fired me. He's like, I'll give you a call. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. I got a shot at this. He may keep me. That was 12 years ago. So,
Still got the number.
Yeah. Like,
Let me know, Coach, I got the same number.
Every time I change my number, I send him a text like, hey, just in case you're going to call me.
Still got that opening, right? Does a guy like Bo Davis resource you? I mean, how
no,
much
like
I've
looked
coaching
like
fraternity do you guys talk?
Dude, it's crazy because I don't know him, but I just have always looked up to him.
Really?
Yeah, like maybe talked to him once or twice at the convention or in passing recruiting, but he's like a guy where it's like when he walked into the convention or wherever you see him, I go, oh, that's Bo Davis. Like he's got that much juice.
Damn.
Like oh shoot, there goes Bo Davis. You know what I mean? Like he's a dude's dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm like okay.
It was awesome. I love Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Keeping up with Hard Knocks, and the news came through in real time, and Hard Knocks caught it of Saban retiring.
Oh.
And like they showed it with Tua, and they showed it with like Henry and like Waddle.
Yeah.
Like
They're
Jalen
like
Waddle.
on their phone.
They're like, oh shit. They're like, bro, Saban's out. You know what I mean? How does that news hit somebody like you in the coaching industry? That
Man.
I mean, you went up against you coached against him in his last game in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
What was that news? How does that news hit you?
Well, like I was in our one of our QC's office, and that's where all the quality control guys are, and we were just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden it like popped up on the TV. We're like, whoa, Saban retired, and everybody's just like kind of talking back and forth, and then like it's crazy because everybody has their allegiance on Saturday night when you're in the NFL state, when you're in the NFL building or you're watching the games, and everybody has their allegiance. Like you got your Bama guys over here, you got your LSU guys, your Oklahoma guys, your Wisconsin guys. You know what I mean? And they all like to beat their chests about their schools.
That's
you know,
awesome.
You got the one Wake Forest guy over here.
Which basketball season?
And But like, you know, to hear those guys talk about stories about Saban or like, you know what I mean? Just like it hit everybody across the building like pretty hard. Not hard, but it was just like
it
was the
huge
whisper
day.
that was going on. Like, dang, Saban just retired. You know what I mean? And then you're just always on your phone like reading like the whole stuff that was coming through.
And even like in y'all's league, like Belichick and Carroll, like those are two titans, right? I mean, like,
I remember when we played Belichick on Christmas Eve and just seeing him in pregame is just like an aura about
like,
those
whoa.
guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, oh shoot, there goes Belichick. You know what I mean? I'm just, all right, I gotta get these guys warmed up, but oh, there he goes over there.
Right. Y'all saw Bill?
He does cut the sleeves off.
He's here.
It's
Bill,
cold.
he showed up.
It's cold out, man, but dang, there goes Bill Belichick. You know what I mean? Like, so, because like where we warmed up at, they would walk out the tunnel like by the defensive line and everything. I was like, there goes Belichick.
Right, yeah.
Everybody's looking at me like, all right, cool.
Is there any players that you get starstruck by?
No, like it's just like you see them, they're just bigger than like you would imagine. Like Josh Allen's like, all right, he's a big dude. Like, oh my God, we gotta tackle this dude.
Right. Everybody huddle up. Everybody get together. Take a knee. I just saw Allen up close.
I think we're playing Buffalo on. I think it was Sunday night or Monday. No, it was Monday night after our bye, and you see him walk out like, woof, woof.
That's a dude.
Oof,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because we played him when he was at Wyoming when I was at Fresno State. And it's like, all right, he was big then, but now it's like, geez, what is he? This dude's humongous.
Were you with DeBoer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was with KD, I was with Grubb. So
Pretty much that whole staff.
Yeah, so it's crazy because Coach Tedford is probably one of the most unsung. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for
Jeff
how
Tedford.
yes, for how good of a
His
coach
coaching
he is.
tree, bro.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
So when I was there, you have 2 SEC coordinators, an SEC head coach, and 2 guys who are position coaching in the NFL. They're all on his first staff.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got the coordinators are Kirby Moore, and then obviously Ryan Grubb just came over. So Kirby was our receivers coach. Grubb was the O-line coach.
Damn. And Kirby's at Missouri.
Yep.
Right.
Kalen obviously just got the Bama job. Was at Washington. Myself, and then you got Burt Watts, who was the safeties coach with the Carolina Panthers.
Holy cow, man.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Allen's staff in Indiana. He had DeBoer in the head coach at South Alabama. That now Cain.
Yeah. So me and KD left 2 days apart. So I left to go to Arizona State. Then KD left to go to Indiana.
Okay.
And then Grubb got the coordinator job, and then a year later, KD came back and got the Fresno State job.
That's a lot of smoke in Tuscaloosa. I mean, he's ready for that. I mean,
yeah.
His record of head coach is crazy.
Yeah, and again, like those guys are family. When I say that, like I root for those guys because they're family. We all came up from the dirt. Like you got to appreciate a guy who came from like Sioux Falls,
right? Yeah, no, I agree.
And grinded and interviewed at jobs and didn't get them. Like you know what I mean. Then went to Southern Illinois. Then went to Eastern Michigan. Like come on, Eastern Michigan. Those are guys that like knocked down the wall with the freaking
sledgehammer before the game.
Yeah.
Like the coach is shoveling the snow before the game.
Yes, yeah. So, and then he comes to Fresno. Then he goes to Indiana, and just kind of like he didn't land on third base. So,
right, absolutely.
No, he was in a batter's
25 and 3 at Washington in 2 years. When he took that job, that place was in the graveyard.
Yes,
I mean that place was dead.
Yes.
I mean, you can't just wake up and go 25 and 3 if you can't coach.
No.
So I mean, I get it. I mean,
like how close the friends are. We played Kansas City on a Thursday night, and then we have that weekend off. Like I flew to Washington to go watch them play Oregon.
Oh wow!
Like those are like when I say like we're gonna do anything to help those guys. Like those are my guys over there. Like literally, we played on Thursday night. Friday we come back in, graded. We got the weekend off. I'm on a flight to Seattle to go watch them play.
Damn.
Oregon and like hang out with the families and like those are my guys. So
love that.
I'm rooting for them. I think they're gonna be a dynamic offense and like just don't sleep on them. Just don't read the resume and see Sioux Falls and Eastern Michigan. Southern Illinois and be like, oh, these guys can't coach. Okay.
Or do read the resume and look at it differently.
Yes. Yeah, like a real ball coach would look at it and be like, okay.
Yeah, heads up, fellas. Better buckle it up today.
Yeah, these guys know what they're doing because you just don't transform programs everywhere like that you go. And
from Sioux Falls to Bama. Yeah, I mean, like that just
Not an
doesn't happen.
accident.
He's from Watertown, South Dakota, too. Like, remember, I was at North Dakota State, so I remember recruiting a kid from Watertown. And he and I would always talk about Watertown. I'm like, bro, I might have been the only brother in Watertown that day. I remember, the crazy stories I always tell Katie, like, I went to this high school, like Watertown High School or whatever out there. And I was the only brother in the hallway. Like, they were looking at me like, you know that Beverly Hills Cop when he went to the country deal, he was like, "There's a new sheriff in town." Yeah. Like, if I'd have screamed that in that high school, everybody been looking.
Like, ooh, wow.
So you're too young to watch Beverly Hills Cop.
No, I'm right in there.
I think you're talking about 48 hours.
Sorry, 48 hours. That was
When
one.
they
48
walk in the
hours.
bar.
Yes.
Yeah, he throws the glass up against the back of the bar.
Yeah. He's like, "There's a new sheriff in town."
That's
Like,
right.
that's how I felt in
That's
that hotel, and high school in
school hallway.
Watertown. Yes.
But
Who's the best team left in the tournament?
Man, that'd be interesting. I don't know. Like, let's look at the teams that we played. Like
KC.
Yeah, they're good. Detroit's good. Detroit's good. Like, they're so like. I just like.
They take on their personality. That guy.
Yeah. What's he?
Dan
Campbell.
Campbell.
Yeah,
I
they're.
mean, like you can they.
It's like the whole like blue collar thing. Like Detroit's good.
Lunch pail.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like, what was he say? Like, I'm gonna chew knee braces or whatever, but
Yeah.
like it's just our kneecaps. Like,
Right.
I'm like, all right, they're pretty good. Yeah.
And that's Peyton's guy too.
Yeah, he was
Peyton
here
loves-
with Sean,
yeah,
right?
he loves Peyton.
Yeah.
It's great to see you, bro.
You too, man. I like saw my man at F45 yesterday. We're both in there
You
sweating our
back in
butts
it.
off.
You back home.
Yeah,
Where you back at the gym.
Man, my wife was like, "We're going to F45."
She
I'm
duped
like,
him.
All right. Yeah, I go on the hardest day of the week. Just laying there sweating.
It was F45, all of it. It was cardio day, and he looked at me after the first set. He tried to walk off, and she's like, "You got to come back." He's like, "I'm done,
you
dude."
going?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, "Coach, you ain't done yet."
Bro,
He's like,
she was yelling, talking about you're sweating on everything. I'm like, we're in cardio session right
He's
now.
wearing a hoodie. That's gonna get a stretch and stride.
Yeah, that's
in.
what I thought. I was gonna be like, all right, it's gonna be easy, but like, nah. And then like, I'm gonna tell you guys too. Like, every morning when I get in the facility, like, boom, I'm turning on Jordy Culotta show. Like, I'm listening to it on my phone as I'm like driving in. And then when I get to work, I'm like mad because the YouTube channel has me on pause for like 3 minutes or whatever, and then it pops on. So then like, some of the coaches will walk by and be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm listening to my boy Jordy. I got you on the TV here, and I got the other games on these other 4 screens."
Broncos gear.
Bro, like the TV is so big, like it shouldn't even be that big in my office. But like you can walk by and you can just see your face right there.
I love it, Coach.
If anybody's in the building right now, when my TV's on, I'm popped up on the screen right now. I listen to you guys every day, man. You guys kill it. Love
How
the
cold
new
is
place. Bruh.
Oh, dude.
Bro, like,
I think about you all the time, man. I'm like,
man.
I know.
Thank God.
my
He brought
boy
it with
is
him.
freezing up there.
Thank
dog.
God I'm in the booth during the games.
Oh, nice.
Like, I'm up
I
there.
was looking for you in the field in Houston, but I figured you were in the booth.
Man, I wanted to see you after the game too, like, but you were running around.
He was still chasing Bun B.
Actually, no, it was actually good you didn't see me after that game.
I mean, because I said, well, they were like, "What about Jamar?" I was like, "Well, we got to wait and see if they win or lose." And about third quarter, I was like, "We get back at it. We rolling."
Yeah, it was good you didn't.
I
come
told
back
y'all
for
Derek
that one.
Stingley was a problem.
Coach, the best game he's played.
Yeah,
The best game he played.
him, Will Anderson, like they got some dudes.
He got
man.
some dudes.
But it's good to see some of these guys, like especially these guys like from like you recruit them in high school, and now 4 years later to see them like take off.
Bet.
Like that's actually
I bet
pretty
as
cool.
a coach, that's so cool.
And then in pregame, you see these guys.
Right.
Like when I saw my Oklahoma guys, and then like seeing Jay Roy, Jay Ward, you know, and like how they embrace you in pregame. It's just like,
it's all
all right,
worth it.
this is
Yeah, it's all worth it.
yeah,
it all worth
100%.
it,
Like
yeah.
it's just like, all right, these are my guys here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's great to see you, bro. Continue
Oh,
this all day.
always. Yeah, we can do it
Coach
all
again
day.
soon. Jamar Cain, defensive line coach, Denver Broncos, former LSU, Oklahoma, great friend. Wrapping it up. We'll be back with more of the show right after this.
My guys.